Just at 5 minutes, everybody, because to get everybody through, and the Secretary's got a hard 11:30 departure.
Let me thank you all for your extraordinary service and the men and women that you represent. I don't advertise it very often, but I spent a year in Vietnam, in the Vietnam War. Of course, when I got back, they called it the Vietnam conflict. I think words are important, and when you start talking about overseas contingency operations, I think we need to recognize we're fighting two wars, I think, as you said, Admiral Mullen, at one time. And one of those wars we're fighting is in Iraq. We have today, as I can recount, about 96,000 troops, and that is going to be scaled down, I understand, Mr. Secretary, to 50,000, and the President has said we will be out of any sort of a military posture by the end of 2011, by the end of December of 2011. I don't want to use the word contingencies, but obviously the Defense Department's ready for every contingency. But what if Prime Minister Maliki, while the election is somewhat unsettled and has not been determined, says to you, we need you here to continue to provide a degree of stability?
Well, first of all, we do more contingency planning than probably anybody in the world. But I would say we are on track at this point. I think General Odierno is comfortable that we will meet the benchmarks that not only the President's policy, but the security agreement that the Bush administration signed with the Iraqis, pledging to have all of our troops out by the end of 2011. We have contingency planning, but at this point, we think that we can meet these benchmarks, and frankly, you know, we anticipated all along there would be a stressful period after the Iraqi election. The amazing thing to us is that I did a video conference with General Odierno a few days before the election. He said, you know, if we get 50 to 55% turnout, that will be great. If we get 55 to 60%, that would be exceptional. We ended up with 62% turnout. The Iraqis are trying to solve their problems politically instead of shooting at each other. And frankly, I think we're modestly optimistic that this thing is going to go forward without any need for changing the plans.
But you obviously, if the request comes, you'll be making recommendations to the President.
Yes.
And react to that.
Yes.
Would you focus for a minute? There's talk of potential Marine interdiction off Iran. That's another, you know, potential decision that would be on your plate. Can you tell the committee what we might anticipate in that area?
Well, we don't see that the kind of behavior on the part of the Iranians that would make that necessary. But all of our Navy commanders who are operating in the Gulf have rules of engagement if they are attacked, if they are approached. So I think I defer to Admiral Mullen, but I think we're pretty comfortable that we have both the capability and the rules of engagement that will allow us to protect our own forces.
Well, maybe to Admiral, do we have the resources to do what we might need to do for that interdiction purposes? Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.